Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel. I am in a different atmosphere because I just decided to come out and sit outside for a second or in my truck just to get my thoughts together. But today I'm going to go ahead and record this two-part video. So if you see this part of this video, make sure you go find part two. Um, and if you've seen part two, look up in the description box for part one. So yeah, let's get started. The first part of this video, I am going to talk about my abortions, okay? Um, a lot of people don't know that I had 3 abortions, um, and cause I guess a lot of people thought that I was gay all of my life, which I wasn't. So I am deciding to put this video out because pretty sure I'm not the only one who goes through things like this. I'm probably not the only one who can actually fathom up the strength to tell my story and all of that. In this video, I will not be naming any names because honestly, they are irrelevant. So, um, yeah, I'm just going to give them false names and all of that good stuff. You guys know how this goes. I guess you can call it a story time. I think that's what I'm going to call it. Whatever I decided to call it, you guys will see the title of this video, okay? So, yeah, before I get into this video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you turn on your post notifications to be notified every time I decide to introduce you guys to a crazy part of my life. So yeah, let's get straight into it. When I was 14, I decided to get into a relationship. Before I get started, I want to tell you guys this video, the abortions are close together, okay? They are very close together. And I do not advise anybody to do this. So, like, no, I was 13 going on 14. I was staying with my godparents at the time. No, I wasn't. I was moving into this from me moving into my I was moving from my parents' house back to my godparents' house. Um and I'm not the type to say that me and my parents was into it all the time, so I didn't stay home. Um I just didn't stay home for some reason. And I'm not your typical daughter who cuts up, who have failing grades and just roam the road around this time, okay? I just didn't want to stay home because most of you know I stay deep, deep, as you can see. All the trees, imagine it going all the way around the house. I stay deep, deep in the country, and if you know, I stay 30 minutes from town. 15 minutes, but I'm gonna stretch it to 30 because it feel like 30. But so yeah, I I moved into my parents' house, my godparents' house, and that's when I met this boy. My godparents stay in a different town, but it's still Mississippi. Um, and me and this boy, we was talking for a couple of months, and then this is the same dude that I lost my virginity to. So I thought the typical, I'm in love, all that stuff. I wished I had saved it. To this day, I wish I had just looked at him and went on by my business. But you live and you learn, and that's what I did. So days went on, and one day he said the famous infamous words that we always say: "If you love me, you'll show me." So that's what I did, trying to be crazy, trying to be um, naive. I showed him that I loved him. So a couple of weeks later, I ended up pregnant. Okay. Now at this time, I was probably 4 weeks pregnant, not knowing. Okay. I did not know it. You guys, I was drinking, smoking. I was doing everything, but I was not failing school, so it wasn't like you need to sit down because you doing this, and this, and your grades are poor and all that stuff. Because I still was a straight A B student, um, so it wasn't a big deal. So yeah, I was smoking, drinking, um, doing everything I was not supposed to do. So one morning I woke up, and this when all hell broke loose. Okay, one morning I woke up and I didn't feel so good. So I'm thinking, it's just a hangover. Take some medicine, go back to bed. So I took Nepsin. Was it Nepsin or something else? Pepsin or something. But it was nauseated medicine plus they gave me my godparents, aka my parents. They gave me some nauseated medicine and they gave me some hangover medicine. So I took both of them and I went back to bed. Woke back up, felt the same way. So that's when I told my godmom that no, I talked to my god sister and I was telling her how I was feeling, all of this stuff, and she asked me have I had any sexual activity. Now at the time my god sister was kinda probably a little she was at the time, I don't know why I'm saying probably. At the time she was older than me, um, and all of that stuff. So, she asked me about sexual activity, and I couldn't lie to her because I told her everything. And plus, she know when I lie. That's the crazy part. But I told her, of course, like a couple of weeks ago, which it wasn't a lie because it was true. Um, so she told me to come to her aunt's house and we'll take the pregnancy test. Now, we all know that we have this famous aunt who tells other people business, okay? That is not their own. So I'm thinking to myself, no, I'm not gonna do it. Um, so she decided to just come where I was and we can just sneak around and do a pregnancy test. Now I'm thinking in the back of my head that won't work because my godmommy is nosy. Anything that goes up under her roof goes on up under her roof. Trust me, she know. So I'm thinking to myself that won't work. But she said, yeah, it will, because I have a bathroom in my room. Now, I've never been in my god sister room because honestly, when I'm there, she's barely ever there. Because this is when she was trying to finish school and go ahead and get enlisted. And that's a whole nother story that I might tell you guys about. Just let me know when she went into the army and I knew nothing about it until months later. Um, but back to this story, she came home, we took the pregnancy test, and at first she was just staring at me. I was staring at her. She was staring at me. I was staring at her. It was like, okay, are you gonna give me my results? Because I'm the type like, if I have good news, somebody else got to tell me what they are. If I have bad news, somebody else got to tell me. Like, I'm the type of person, if it's bad news and it's coming in an envelope, somebody got to open the envelope and tell me. Just like when it's good news, if it coming in an envelope, you get what I'm saying, right? Yeah. So, she told me that I am pregnant. Now, at this time, I did not know anything about getting a pap smear. A pap smear did. At this time, I didn't. Because my parents always told me when you turn 15, that's when I want you to go get a pap smear did. Now, you guys, remind you, when I was 9, that's when all of my lady parts began decided to start working, okay? Um and uh so I want to say a couple of days after I found out, it was the weekend for sure. It was a Friday. That Friday is when she took me to the hospital and well to the gynecologist, and we did a pap smear, all this stuff, just to make sure that I was pregnant, all of that stuff. So it did come back a couple of days later saying that I was pregnant, how many months I was, and then they also sent me this parent uh parent choice magazine, and my godmom was like, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, "No, I just went to the get a pap smear did. That's it." She said, "So why you didn't tell me?" And I said, "Well, it's just a spur of the moment thing, and I feel like I didn't have to tell you because um it wasn't that important, but apparently it was important to her." So she called and told my mom and my dad, of course. And then I got on the phone with them, and then my mom said, "Are you pregnant?" And I was like, "No." She said, "You sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm positive." And she said, "Well, okay then. But if I find out otherwise, I'm gonna kill you." So, I wanna say probably a couple of weekends after that, I drank, I smoked, I did everything, okay? And this is when, cause I heard if you do a lot of stuff, if you take vinegar pills, if you do this, you can kill your baby. And I'm like, I'm too young, so this baby got to go. Now, don't judge me, judge yourself. So I was smoking, I was drinking, I was doing everything I could. Um, and then in the middle of the night, I felt like my insides was being pulled out by a machete. Um, and that's probably the worst way to describe it. But you guys, I was hurting so bad too. I was crying like a baby, and it takes a lot for me to cry now. So just imagine when I was younger. It took a lot. Unless I was getting a whooping, then of course I'ma cry. But um, I was crying a lot, and it was hell. Okay. So they had rushed me to the ER. And then my parents, my godparents, my god sister had came back from wherever she was. And then at the time my god brother was living, he came back from Atlanta. So everybody was in the hospital room, and the doctor with his big ass mouth, he said, "You having a miscarriage." And I'm like, "Shut the fuck up, doctor." Like, shut up with your big mouth. What happened to the patient doctor confidentiality? Like, where that went? So everybody looked at me and said, "My God." So she's looking at the floor. My God brother looking at me like, "If the baby don't kill you, I'm gonna kill you." So everybody looking at me like, "You done fucked up." So my mom, she talking about, "Wait, I didn't even know you was pregnant. I knew, but I didn't know because you lied to me like you wasn't, but you was." And I'm like, "Shut up." So and my godmom like, "I knew it. Because ain't no way they're just going to send you a parent choice book and you weren't pregnant. I know it." And I'm like, "Oh my God." And then my dad and my goddad was looking at me like they were so devastated to the fact that I was embarrassed. I was ashamed. I was everything. So, that happened, and I want to say probably, um, a couple of weeks later, me and both sides of my parents both sit down and we talked about it, what happened, all these blase blase. And yeah. Now on to my second one. It was with the same boy, of course, but I was 14. I was probably early in my 14. And right after I had this miscarriage, I um I'm like, the doctor said you can't do nothing for another 3 weeks and make sure everything healed. Not me. So I'm like, bro, I had it one time, I needed it again just to make sure it was that good the first time that it was, just to make sure I wasn't crazy. Make sure, because I heard all these things, your first time is the worst time. But I'm thinking in the back of my head, okay, it wasn't that bad, but it wasn't that good, but it was down in the middle to where you want seconds. So, that's what I did, and we did it in my parents' house when they was on vacation. Now, when my parents was on vacation, they let some of my friends stay with me just because I didn't want to go on vacation with them, and plus I felt like I was old enough, and yeah, I didn't want to go with them. So at the time, it was me, my brother, his friends, my friends, and we was all having a movie night. Now, remind you guys, my friends and my brother friends, they cannot stand each other. It was like we was in a house full of brothers and sisters that could not stand each other. But we all got along. We wouldn't let nobody mess with the other. So it was like one big happy family. But they hated each other good. But we still was in a place where we could like have conversations and not be so bitter each other. So it was like a big old sleepover, aka the it was crazy. Um so everybody was falling asleep everywhere. I'm gonna say that we was falling asleep. Some on the couch, some on the floor, some in the bed, some in the bedroom floor, some in my parents' room, some on the floor. It was like a house full of people, but they was falling asleep everywhere. Um, but I'm like, bro, it's boring. I can't sleep. I need something to do. I need somewhere to go. Everybody's falling asleep too early. It's still early. It's the weekend. So why not? So this is when I decided to call my so-called boyfriend over. Now, during my first pregnancy, I did not tell him nothing. So, um, and that's probably the crazy part because he was trying to call me. I never answered the phone. He was trying to come see me. I'm like, no, I got something to do, or I'm grounded. I was trying to say everything in the book because when I was pregnant the first time, I did not tell him nothing. He did not know nothing. I did not go to school. Um, yes, I did. I did go to school, but I didn't go to none of my after school activities because then I was in the band, I was playing sports, I was doing a lot. But I never went to after school programs no more. Um, so yeah. So I'm like, okay, let's do this again. But this time we got to use protection. Okay, we have to use protection. And he was sitting there talking about like why. And I'm like, we have to. We just have to. So that I was demanding it. So as we were we talked on the phone. I talked on the phone till he got to my house. Um like we talked about what I wanted to do to him, all kind of stuff. So I want to say probably probably a couple of minutes after he got here, that's when everybody decided to wake up. Okay, I had it planned. Everybody sleep, can't nobody hear me, so you can just sneak in the house. Why did they wake up? When he got here, they seen the headlights. They woke up. Everybody woke up. Um, I want to say even the neighbors woke up because honestly, they wasn't playing music at first, but when he got here, all of a sudden the neighbors started playing music. So everybody was outside, and he started playing music. Now at the time, he was 16, going on 17. Um, so and no, he didn't know my age at the time. because when he seen me at school, it was like um, after school time, like during all the games and stuff. So we was just kicking it outside, having fun, drinking, like always. So he's like, "Hey, you ready?" I'm like, "I been ready." So we went in the house, did the do, and came out and started back drinking like we did nothing wrong. Um, and we just all chilling and all that. So I want to say probably 1, 2, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning. Everybody decided to go in the house, take a shower, lay down, do what they do. So I want to say around about um, I want to say everybody was asleep at 5 o'clock. I want to say everybody was done doing what they had to do, and they was halfway asleep. And that's when he decided he wanted to go home. And me, I really didn't think nothing of it because I really didn't trust him that much. I just wanted what I can get from him, and he gone by his business. So that what happened, and yeah. So I want to say the same thing happened. I was at school, didn't pay it no mind, and then I got that feeling again of, okay, something's not right feeling. So at this time, this is when I called my mom, my actual mom, and told her, I think I'm pregnant. And she said, again? And I was like, yeah. And she said, okay, why you say that? And then I'm like, well, when you guys went on vacation, which Brian came over and blase, blase. Um, and she said, okay, and you're calling me from school because I said, because, the little miscarriage feeling is bad and I think it's blood running down my legs. I really haven't checked yet, but it's warm and I feel like I'm about to faint. So she said, okay, you need to make it to, like, call to the front office or I'm going to call or something she told me to do. And then, you guys, before I knew it, the ambulance was there. So I feel like she called the ambulance. It's still at the front office. And they came in there. And right there on scene, they told me that I was having another miscarriage. Now, this miscarriage is kind of crazy because it felt easier this time than it did the first time. So then that's when I found out that I had cancer, ovarian cancer. So that means my inner walls are thinning, and that means that I can't carry a baby full time without being on medicine. So it hurted me dearly because I'm like I'm wilding now, and I'm kind of screwing up my blessings and all of this stuff just because I want to have fun, just because it's the spur of the moment blast time, okay? So I dealt with that situation. I did have to have chemo once a month, no, twice a month for 3 months, okay? So I had to have chemo like 6 times and it was gone, okay? I was in transmission phase or demission phase, whatever they call it, but it was gone completely. So I want to say I was turning 16, 17. I was around that time, 16, 17. I was in I was in probably 11th, 12th grade. And, no, I was in the 11th grade. And this is when you have prom and all of that stuff. So I went to prom, I went to my cousin's graduation, and the summer of when I was turning 18, I decided to have a big old party at my house. Um, and it was crazy, you guys. And this is when I found out, okay, I'm not really into guys that much. And you know how you have to test out you have to test out the pool of people and say, I don't like this group, but I love this group, so I'm just gonna cling to this group. So at the time, I wasn't really into guys like that, but I was still into guys. And then I'm looking like, I love girls, I love women's, but I like guys. This is when I was real full blown sexual attracted to girls. Okay, so I want to say this is summer right before my birthday. It was like the 3rd, July the 3rd. I'll never forget because this is the same time I found out that my sister was in the military and it broke me down completely. Um, so yeah. Hold on, you guys. So yeah. Um, this is like the time where I decided to just like be to myself. Um, and not worry about what people think. So, this is the first time I decided to do a threesome, okay? Um, with my best friend and, well, at the time, my best friend and her boyfriend. He wanted to do a threesome, and she like, if he don't do it with me, then he gonna do it with somebody else. Now, at the time, I'm thinking like, okay, whatever. So we did to do it, whatever, and it was like a romantic type deal, and it felt funny because I never in my life be romantic with another person in my bedroom that I'm not in a relationship with. But whatever. So that happened, um and I was feeling funny. Um and this is when I had my third abortion. Um I was feeling funny. This pregnancy here, I found out a couple of days, probably a week later that it was more than a week later. I want to say it was probably some months later because I went back to school and I was a senior then. Um and I was just in school chilling. Now, mind you guys, um, I never felt like morning sickness. I always had weird cravings, so that didn't like phase me none. I always ate weird food, so it's like when I actually do get pregnant this time, I won't be able to know unless I feel body changes because I eat crazy food as it is, and so yeah. I want to say probably, I don't even know, you guys. It was probably September, early October. And that's when I start feeling I was I was carrying a baseball in my stomach. So at the time, I felt like honestly, I felt like the cancer was back, and I didn't know how to actually feel, but I told my mom and my godparents I have to go to the doctor because I feel horrible. Okay. Um, and this is around the time that this is when I found out that like I said, my god sister had went into the military, and that broke me down to a point to where I'm like, I don't even want to talk to her no more. Me and my god sister was real close, and now I can say we are close. But back then when I was in like senior year, we was not close at all. So I went to the doctor, and that's when they told me I was pregnant. Now, mind you guys, I stopped drinking, but I was still sort of kind of smoking. I was still, this is like my peak of me being in the streets. Um, and I was doing all these ripping and running, not eating like I supposed to. Not doing the things I was supposed to. I wasn't taking prenatal vitamins. This whole pregnancy, I never took prenatal vitamins. Come to think about it, I never took them. Um, so, I want to say, I don't know. Like, it was December, January when I first, like, started noticing a difference with my body. Um, and I want to say March. It was March when I had this miscarriage. It was March um, it was March the, no, it wasn't the 3rd. I want to say it was just right before March the 25th. It was right before then because I know it was when we came back off of spring break. So it had to be in the week after spring break. So, yeah, it had to be because I was in school. So, we had, I went for checkups and everything. And I did carry this pregnancy, but I didn't carry it my full term. So around about March, after spring break. Now during spring break, I was feeling weird. And so I got a checkup in the baby, and the doctor told me that I'm going to go in labor early. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And he said, probably this weekend you're gonna have a baby. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And so the doctor tell me everything, but me being the judge, the jury, and the lawyer, sitting there telling him he don't know what he talking about. So, I want to say that following weekend is when I went into labor. Now, when I went into labor, this is when everything went downhill. It was I had to have emergency labor because for one, I didn't even have preeclampsia, and that's a crazy part. But the baby was turned. His head was wrapped in umbilical cord, and his foot was wrapped in an umbilical cord. So if he was pulled the wrong way, then it would be hell to pay. Any wrong way pull that they did to my baby, it was gonna be hell to pay. So they had to go inside and they had to cut the umbilical cord that way so they can actually see like what's going on. So this is when the doctors decided to tell me to push. So I pushed with everything I had in me, and I want to say probably an hour and a half later it was a baby. Okay. Um. Now I was in the hospital for a long time. Felt like for months, but it was long hours. Like it was long hours. But after an hour and a half of me pushing and them shoving and pushing and tugging and playing tug of war with me and the umbilical cord and my baby, um, I had the baby. Now, most of you guys know when you have a baby, you hear the baby cry. Now, me at the time, being naive, I'm like, okay, maybe they need to get all the mucus and all that stuff out of his throat, out of his lungs, and then he'll start crying. The baby at this point never cried. Okay. Um. So that's when the doctors told me it was a stillbirth. Now, a stillbirth is not considered an abortion because I didn't kill my baby. But honestly, I call it an abortion because I never got to see my baby. Like, period. And sometimes I think about certain things like that. Like, would it been different? Would it be different? Would I have a different life now than I do? Than I if I had a baby then now. So those are just things I think about when I'm by myself. And people think, oh, you're so emotional. You're so caved in. You don't let your emotions out. But I feel like people don't understand me if I did tell them how I felt or what's on my mind or things like that. I feel like people wouldn't understand. So there's some reasons why I just keep my emotions, my feelings, everything to myself because I feel like people would not understand me. But anyways, yeah, so I had 2 abortions, 1 stillbirth, and I'm still walking this earth. Um, and I want to tell whoever is dealing with a miscarriage or anybody who's dealing with abortions that sometimes they are not what you seem. Okay. Um, but yeah, and the second part of this video, you guys, I will be talking about my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions on abortions and adoptions and all of that good stuff. So if you guys want to see that video, wait to part 2. But if you came to the end of this video, um put a baby emoji. And I'm gonna show you when it pops up here. A baby emoji of yeah, that you made it this far. I wanna know who made it this far with me. Because if you made it this far in this video, you the real MVP, okay? But anyway, this is the end of this video. And if this is your first time coming to my video, make sure you subscribe on your way out. Make sure you like and comment before you leave. And make sure you hit the notification bell to be notified every time I decide to tell a crazy story to let you guys in more. I'll see you guys in part 2. Okay? Don't miss part 2. Bye, guys.